national anthem. Umlilo weSoweto, umlilo weMpankwe.
Good afternoon, whether it's afternoon in England or afternoon in Ireland or good night in Zimbabwe or good morning in Zimbabwe. This is Cosmas Tsano Zulu. I've been in football for 55 years. I started football, as a player and as a coach, for 55 years, and I started football in 1967 at 4:15. And it's now 10 to 1, and I'm still in football uninterrupted. Uninterrupted. Here we are. We'll be talking a lot of our local football. And on my immediate left, I've got a gentleman called Billy Svander. He's one of the 60s and 70s Highlanders right fullback. This man was really a gentleman of football. Why I say so? Well, that's how Billy Svander was. He was really a gentleman of football. And I welcome you, Mr. Svander, into this program. And on my far left, I've got Kainot Lupasha. He was one of the Highlanders strikers. The guy could dribble. He was really dribbling. He was actually equipped with technical skills. Now, I'm a cheap, show me your number. This is the type of player you're talking about, Kainot Lupasha. But ladies and gentlemen, before we start this program, we would like to go on a minute silence because we are talking about our former players, our playmates, former players of Highlanders, administrators who passed. And we would like to give this respect to them for 1 minute, and not forgetting here now, the people, in Syria and Turkey who lost their lives because of earthquake in their countries. We would like to say we send our red warm of love and feeling sorry on what happened to these two countries. And with that, can we just go for a minute silence, gentlemen? Thank you, guys. And I think, guys, we can start now. I'll start with a question here. Billy Svander, you played for Highlanders in the 70s. Do you still remember the playmates, the team and the coach, even the chairman, during your playing times for Highlanders?
Okay, when we started, actually, I started in 1965 to play for Highlanders. And that time I came at a very, very crucial time. Why I say very crucial, it's because it was just after a breakaway of a formation of Cobras, which was composed mainly of Highlanders players that came there. Yeah. So Highlanders was really in dire needs of players. Okay. So we were sort of recruited straight from school in 1965. Yeah. And it was tough that time because to really assemble a formidable side, it wasn't a joke. That's true. Yeah. But the mere fact that we were all determined, to leave the Highlanders flag. So we really had that passion.
That's true, yes.
And when I remember properly, it was people like Zwambila.
Yes.
That came in to light also and came to our rescue financially and morally.
When you talk about Mr. Zwambla, is the one we used to have a cocktail bar in Magwegwe.
Magwegwe, that's correct.
Yes,
that's
that was the businessman. Marisha, okay.
Cocktail bar.
Cocktail bar, yeah. Yes, thank you.
And that time with our manager,
yeah,
by the name of Silas Ndlovu.
Yeah. By the way, Mr. Silas Ndlovu is still alive.
He's still alive.
I was with him.
Yeah.
We're together. I've got actually some pictures now. We're together about 3 weeks back. That's beautiful.
And that Ndlovu, he really molded us up. He brought us up. He played also a fatherly figure to us, because he was more knowledgeable in soccer because he had already played in Harare.
Okay.
So when he came here, he really lifted us up.
That time Harare was called Salisbury.
Yeah.
Salisbury. Okay. Yeah.
So we really owe him much because we were known because of him.
Yeah.
Actually, by the time he came, actually, we were rather too Amarish.
Yeah.
Our football, because we're just from Bafa.
Yeah.
Because of his influence and his experience, so he introduced most of the new techniques of football, new modern type of football. So we really thank Mr. Ndlovu.
Yes.
It was the role he played in our lives.
Yeah.
Otherwise, this is why we are known up to now. It was through that man.
Yeah. Tell me, Ismail, before I just interrupt you, that time, Ubaba Silas Ndlovu and Svelani, I understand they'd gone to England or some time or to learn. To learn about football. When they came back and they started to bring some new tactics and how to train and what have you. That's why I think from there Highlanders started having good players because of Ubaba Silas Ndlovu. Is that true?
Yeah, it's very, very true.
Yeah.
Because him and Svelani, those people were proper administrators of football.
Thank you.
Like I said, they also had that high passion of football. They liked football. And they were very enthusiastic. In also improving their skills, also their techniques and all that, so that they impart that knowledge to us. And it did pay dividends.
Thank you. Tell me, in the 70s, in the 60s, when you had Ubaba Silas Ndlovu at Highlanders, did you win anything that time in terms of trophies and even the league? I understand that time the league was not really as big as it is now.
Yeah, actually, I might say in 1968, we joined the NFL, which was the National Football League.
Yes, I remember,
And we're from Bafa,
Yeah.
So in 1970, we played against Mangura.
Mangura, yes, I remember,
In fact, in 1968, we came to NFL. And then that was second division we played in. Then we got promoted. Then in 1970, we had a tough time. Our first assignment was to go and play Mangura at Mangura. And it was a strong side.
I know, I remember,
I remember our first match, we were beaten 7-1.
By Mangura.
Anyway,
before you go there, let me just say to people might want to know where Highlanders came from. Bafa League, it actually stands for Bulawayo African Football Association. You see, during the colonial times, this was the league where Highlanders came from to join the National League, which was being played by teams around the country. When he says National Football, NFL, he means the National Football League. That time, that's where Highlanders was promoted to the second division, and then Highlanders started playing national at that time. You can carry on, Mr. Spanda.
Then in 1971, isn't I said we were in 1970. 1971, since we're just from Bafa, we had not adjusted, to the system and the standard of National Football League standard. We couldn't match up. We got demoted. And if I remember well, we ended up the season with 7 points to see how bad it was.
Yeah.
But fortunately, it didn't go down well with the whole team.
Yeah.
So we said, no, man, if other guys can do it, why can't we?
Yeah.
So we really had to pull our socks.
Yeah.
And 1972,
Yeah.
we were back.
Yeah. I remember that was the time when the Eastlands were also in the league.
Yeah, yeah.
In the league. Tell me, Mr. Spanda, during that time, tell me about the supporters of Highlanders. How passionate were they, especially when you were demoted? Can you just explain to us how were they supporting the team that time?
Actually, I still got a lot of respect for those supporters we had.
Yeah.
Because it was like, in fact, I can compare them with the Sundown supporters now.
Yeah.
Lose or win, they still support the team.
Beautiful. Ukuthi ingaze ihambe ku-Crispin Sayland.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And
Talking about Crispin, which grounds were you guys using back then? After that,
Oh yes.
Okay.
You know. Let me just ask Lupasha, about this support. That time, Lupasha, usually the card say, let trainer ngaphi team.
Yayitrenela isikole lapho.
Isikole. Ibhengule lesi singapha phansi lesi.
Ibhengula lesemzilikazi.
Isemzilikazi lapha. Because umuntu angazi acabanga ukuthi yilubhengula leyana engane. Ilubhengula isikole lesi esiphansi usanda ukuphuma ukucapha isifula lesi esemakokoba lesiyana. Laphana yayi old location phela eswe old location. Sekuya lapha yikho lapha itrainer khona eyayilethe.
Itrainer khona apha eyayilethe.
Yeah.
Ngoba yathi suke eBhafa isiyajoyina ngale.
Yeah.
Kwakule Eastern Brothers.
Yes, Eastern Brothers. eBhafa
Ithe isuka badilize Eastern Brothers. Obheri bonke labana bavela Eastern Brothers.
Oh yes, I remember.
Okentimeni bonke laba.
Yeah.
I think wafika 8 players esasazithatha ku-Eastern Brothers.
Yeah, sibuya kwa ile.
Sisiya ngale sisiyangena ngale.
Yeah.
Ophathisen Ncube lapha.
Ophathisen Ncube.
Yeah. Igenge yakhona yabuya yazidlala kwele nto tititi lapha.
Yotititi. Yeah. Evela ku-Eastern. Yorangi ngiyamazi. Wasebenze railways lo wapho se electrician lo one. Urangi. Yeah.
Hlangana le yayilinda.
Yeah.
Isasincede ngumthako ngathi
umthako
usponsor zabo wangumthako.
Umthako ngiwasponsor wasebenza ku railways lo one. Waqina singasi lo bheki ngayilinda edlala sihambe endlini yakhe sibe sikhaya ijazz khona phala wayethanda ijazz wabhubha yakubona wayethanda ijazz umthako ubheri wabhubha bele sasimthanda umthako ukuthi nje umthako wasichiya ubheri ngakasichiya. Okay, Kerone yaphambili baba.
Kokade sokuyila bana odididi lapha yalento yasuka yakhona ngale. Hayi yafika sibili hayi yadlala ibhola eli-right sibili. Hayi yadlala sibili yaqina bonke uSibanda laba bedlala khona ngale. Hayi yadlala ibhola eli-right sibili and isapota yayilokhu ikhona. Hayi isapota sesidlala lo bomajiya.
Umajiya uWanderers.
Singayo wayisithi ngayo mayi baba umsindo wakhona.
Umsindo wakhona. Umajiya ngiyakhumbula phela number 1 lezala sitshinga. Ojani. Abantu abanye badlala ibhola madoda.
Yewona lokhu zezifa lo.
Ugoliath.
Abathola umpofu laba.
Wena abantu abadlala ibhola lapha lokho ibhola.
Yayidlala ibhola elimnandi yayinjenge Caps. Yayisukela kumidi siyaphambili. Yayibulala khona. Ibhekile yena kwangalalu.
Mashiya.
Caps yasuka kumidi. Kostiso joyina labana bonke siyaphambili ku-Friday P. Hayi ibhekile yena kwangalalu.
Laphana tell me one near doing goalkeeper laphana nje. The cat.
Wanani goalkeeper. Sasuka wasuke eBhafa. Edlala ku-AC. Ngathi leyo ehlala ku-Q.
Ku-Q yawaza.
Wathi wasuka la wajoyina ngalo kuyalinda. Wahamba la khona ngalo bambayo.
Mthelani sorry
Lupasha sathi sixoxa lathi lina yini elafuma ama-juniors eHighlander, the first juniors eHighlanders
ngo-66
usichazele kabanzi.
Hayi thina ngo-66 ithe saqalisa ama-juniors. emanitsha ngu-Ozia Khumalo.
Ozia Khumalo, wangu-teacher lo one wabhokola tesi, yeah. Yeah, Ozia, very, very.
Ama-juniors kwawungala kuthiwa kule 13, 15 what.
Yeah.
Sasiba le 15.
Yeah.
Under 13 wawudlala khonapha. 15, 16 udlala khonapha.
Yeah.
Kwakule 1 lokho selile.
Yeah.
Because sasidlala lobo Ranging, sasidlala lobo kuthiwa mbandi wadlala uSteven Zwimba le.
Ipithiwe school sele wangubani lo umithane lo wana nje ngiyamkhumbule semkhokhe ibizo lakhe
iye ma-juniors sasidlala lokho lalawa elokhuzeni othethe Ncube labo
othethe Ncube abafana besizida elokishini lapha othethe othethe bangeke sidlala ku-push back sena lo wazi tiya isi
mina wayelendazi labo ba
kuyalenda saselobo Wiluphatla
Wiluphatla
umgabela uTombanu lo ehlala uthatha khona inest usikhumbuzo
yes yeah
igenge eningi sasidlala la
yeah
ukuthi abaningi asabakhumbula
so kulesikhathi but it's a long when you talk about 55 years 34 plus 20, it's about up to 57 years. The things he's talking about, you're talking for 55 years of history. This is what he's saying, you know.
So, was Dala Luma Juniors Compana, Congolo City, Lawrence, all of the Lawabe Konavazela, Ansala, Dala, senior team, Zela, 18 years.
Then is Dala Konapa Juniors, Lucas in Dala Juniors. Sasesuga Gigulila. Umdlovu wambiza uSilas wathi ngize trainer ngalo kwele into kwakungu 72 ahamba sibile ngatrainer khona ngale trainer sibile wambona ukuthi hayi umfana lo uright sibile kumele ngihle ngigcine wangalisa ukuthi ngiyebhafa wathi ngihle ngihlale khona ngale ngatrainer wabona ozenze mbadla itsho kube training bayenzani kulo
uzazi tabeka
ngiwangena kuwe team uzengepho kubuye ngikuphola uthumba umbone ihlala so uNdlovu wathi wangiqalisa ngo-72 ngangincane sibili ngaqalisa ukungena ngistriker lobani uJoe esadlala phambili
ubaba kaMphumelelo Zoe
lo munye wakuthiwa nguPeter Pepe
Peter Pepe
ngakhuthi ibhore
chephansi Peter Pepe egijima ungathi isikhulu
Josai Nxumalo wayehlala ebhentshini engakabi lazi kakhulu Josai manje sadlala khonapho kuyalenda kuthe sesiqalisa u-73 yalenda yaba lobo Thomas uTimon Mabaleka uKevin Dubali
Dubali khiwa le yalenda
ubhuti Vanas yabona so igenge leyana yabo yahla before iyayilenda
ngibamba umlomo lapho but you see guys you can see that you know the white players started long back to play for Highlanders. So it's not just now, it's the history can tell you where we do all Bakali, you know, all Putivanas, very good players, or
Kevin
Dubali, Mark Watson. Mark Watson was actually he was my twin striker. We played together. I've got some pictures here of Mark Watson. I'll show you sometime. So you can see where Highlanders came from, you know, in terms of having white players in Highlanders. Tell me, coming to you, Mr. Swanda, tell me, in 1972, when Highlanders joined, into the first year of Premier League, National Super League, it actually was called Super League, yeah? There were only about 12 teams or so at that time. Tell me, when did the Highlanders start winning trophy? Was it 1974 Chibuku Trophy, or when was that?
73.
73.
Yeah, that's when we started winning.
You can explain how you took it in to get to win that Chibuku Trophy, Mr. Swanda.
Okay. Actually, it was a tough one because we started playing with Dynamos, against Dynamos.
Yeah.
And we managed to beat Dynamos 1-0, if I still remember well. And it wasn't a joke also, because they had people like George Shire, mastermind George Shire.
Yeah.
And apparently I happened to be the one marking him.
Yeah.
I won't forget that day, and I still remember it up to now. Yeah, because that chap was good.
He was
good.
Yeah.
Was
And the
good.
time
Yeah.
Maga where midfield number
Yeah.
8.
Yeah.
Betati Chubu.
Yeah.
Because you will tell his next move.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. He could just, out of the blue, just pitch up them and, hey, you perform wonders, man. Yeah. In fact, the good term to use, they used to tell he was a magician. And
Yeah.
he really fitted that name, magician.
Yeah.
He was quite
He was a
good.
damn good player.
So, anyway, we celebrated also. Because beating a team like Dynamos, it was just as good as winning a trophy.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So when it came to Mangura, the final, with all the confidence.
Yeah.
But that Mangura side was good. Because that time it was
brothers.
the Itai brothers.
There was Chiesa, there was Itai. There were 3 brothers in Mangura team. You were telling those guys were good players. They were good players. I can tell you Mangura was one of the strongest teams. Alex Masanja. When he headed the ball, it was from his foot. He was really good. But talking about Georgeshire, I remember also the time when I was playing for Eastlands that time, and we were playing Dynamos at Rufaro. There were some times where I was standing watching Georgeshire when I'm also an opponent, watching the way he was doing things. This is how good he was. You could actually see when he was dribbling through guys that is a good player. You could also admire him when you're an opponent, so that's why I agree with Billy that Georgeshire was a really
mastermind.
Good player, mastermind in the. They were defenders like Steve Chimeza, Pakasimbi. You remember? A very big guy. A big guy when I was training, you would think is what's this wrestler? You say, the wrestler, the big one. He used to wear black. What do you call him?
The Undertaker.
The Undertaker. You're right, Undertaker. Steve Chimeza was like him, eh? There were big guys, the defenders that time. You take someone Josiah Numado. There were big guys. When he looked at you when he struck, you could just feel that you've got no chance here. You see, you can carry on, Mr.
Kule isikhathi sake sadliwa 8 note Dynamos yakhumbula.
Yeah.
Kumbe sasisukile pha isitsha 8 note.
Dynamos.
Ngafuna ukukhumbula uba usibanga
we prefer we talk about other teams, not Dynamos.
But you see,
but it was all in the game anyway.
Besides that, we would like, gentlemen, on a serious note, for the current supporters of Highlanders and Dynamos, that this rival has been there, and it was not as nasty the way think it was. It was all in the game of sport, where you win honorable and lose honorable. See, when we're playing Dynamos, it was not like you want to kill somebody to get a win or to fight anybody after the game. See, it was all to do with entertainment, isn't it? So isn't it?
No, it's true. It's true.
How we want, during that time, families could go to football with your wife and children to watch football. This is the atmosphere. This is the spirit. We want to be carried on with the current generation of players and supporters. After the game, you remember, you used to go and have some drinks together with Dynamos players at Valley Hotel. Do you know Valley Hotel? Yeah, the one day. That's the only hotel we knew after the game during the colonial times. Just after the game, everybody could go there with the opponents and to share, with drink and everything. This is exactly how we want things to happen now.
So now you spoke about Highlanders being trendsetters and you guys featuring white players back then in the colonial era. Yes. So how was the relationships like in the camp because there was segregation, and what did the authorities say about that? You blacks mixing with white players.
Yeah, you see, it was not much like that, the way to come to sport. I remember with a white a team composed of white players called Blower Kellys and Salisbury Kellys. You remember?
Yeah.
There were 2 Kellys, where there's from a Mazulu ground there. That's that place used to be called Bulawayo Kellys. And there were Salisbury Kellys, where white players had their team. But during even that time, with team like Tornadoes or Chibuku Shumba, which had white players in there playing for teams. So the authorities were not much into who plays for who as such into sport. Yes, there was some segregation, like, you couldn't use when you go to Bulawayo Kellys, the dressing room where the white players are, but generally there was not much to segregation when it comes to sport. This is why we had to attract even white players to come and play for Highlanders.
So abo Kevin Tupali labo Puti Vanas lali bathatha lihambela emalokishini sibanda labo.
Yeah, but it was another story because labo ngokwabo, in most cases, that relationship with Labantu Ngale, they wouldn't be that free to interact with anyone, everybody. It was only maybe the football people would understand it, And to add on what Zulu said about the Highlanders, I think the good part of it has always been a cosmopolitan, multilingual entity. Hence the name Team Yabazuba, Team Yelizwe Lonke. This is the good part of it. This is why we had to infuse in our players, our Njengabo, Itai, and all that from Harare. With Highlanders, any player was free to express himself or herself. That is on the other ladies' team.
You see, when you look at it, I've got the constitution of Highlanders here. It actually says this team, everybody, every creed can play for Highlanders. Hence you find Highlanders, you had Shona players, you had, Amanya Sarande like me in that team as well. You had Amakiwa, you had Amanyika, or Standing Yika, everybody. So all I would like to say to the Highlanders family, ukuthi abangaqabanga ukuthi umuntu ngiyazosithi hey team yamandebele hayi lokho asifuna ukuzwa lokho madoda asifuna ukuzwa lokho
because sizotshela into asikhethi imhlobo
asikhethi imhlobo because uzoyenda ayikhethi imhlobo singakhethi imhlobo because singatholi italent esiyifunayo ngiyazwa ama-supporters ethu abaningi bekhuluma njalo akulunganga ngoba sizathina alright khathesi singathola iplayer edlala kuhle ivele eNigeria sithi asiyifuni. You see, we can't do that. So hence you say, Highlanders, I catch him for a team, yelizwe lonke. Ngiyakhumbula mina. Sasithi singahamba siyodlala eMthare ngalo. Ibhola liphele sakuva. 10,000 people abaningi bebuye ebhasini. Tukhumbula ama-t-shirt team yethu abantu behlanye team yethu ayile team yethu ndiye tunosupport eMthare khona. So yikho yiteam yelizwe lonke singayithi ngethu sodwa singayithi njalo asazithola ama-supporters madoda.
Kanti wena uzokuthi ungithanda kwakho manje.
Imbuzo right lo. Uyabona ndoda ngabuya lapha ngo-1966 useyaphela umnyaka 1966 lo sisi wami. Usisi wami wayethethwa lo munye ubaba wayethiwa nguNyambiya. Wayedrive amabhasi iZOC Zimbabwe Omnibus Company. Yiwo amabhasi ayithatha abantu lapha bayakwazi ukuba bapahla. Wayedrive lawo amabhasi. So mina ngangimfana mina ngihlala eMount Arrow. Ubaba wami wayethenga iplaza khona engimunyasarande futhi njalo njabona. Kodwa ngakasabuyelanga eZambia. Wathenga ngale lapha ayithethe khona because umama wami ngoMount Arrow amakhore khona. So nasuka usisi wami wafika ekhaya wangithola ngicakile so wasekuza umonke ukuthi uCosmas indaba enje swenga wathi no kafuna ukudla imbidi engelama-tomatisi le-cooking oil bathi mina sengihamba la ngaphi koBulawayo ukubuya kwami la ngithi ngifika la usisi wami wayehlala esibambaniso place lapha wangithatha sakuhamba ngale ngafika kudlala i-combined meetings yazi yomdlalo wana usaka wayesebenza e-post office ngiyo-chairman wakhona usaka wayethiwa usaka Rose sesifika ngale ema-ground grand tour laphana usisi wami sithi ngilobhuti wami lapho okwazi ukudlala ibhola la ngifuna ajoyine bathi kangeni ngangena lapha angathi ngihleleke nasabathi sibekhuluma ngesidebe manje ngingazini isindebele so nxa umuntu elebhola nithi Tsano uTsano ngale lesindebele uTsano ngusibala ngale emashandla uTsano ngubani ngusibala antobona so ngasi Tsano mpasela lakini bizona sithi nguTsano lo because ngeke ngawazi ukukhuluma isindebele na umuntu elebhola futhi bangenzeni bampasela yiko uTsano wabuya lapha abantu mangakuthi kathi lapha uthi Cosmas Tsano Zulu lo umuntu wengumnyanza but lapha kule business sishona wakati kuhamba njalo. That's how Tsano came in. The nickname actually stuck like that. This is how, the beauty of football. You can see it takes people from anywhere in the corners of the world and more to end up playing for Islanders, and who could imagine such things, So that's why we say we have to respect sport. And sport on its own, it actually builds friendship. You can imagine, the friendship I've built in 55 years through sport. And hence, my fellow men here who played for Islanders, we're still friends. And we met because of sport. Just imagine if we were fighting, ubaba ulupasha, ubaba Plisa, uThando Nyasarandi, Katsialienza, what could have happened? Hence we're here now just because of sport. So let's respect sport because it builds families, it builds friendship, it builds a nation. It builds, I can tell you, with football, with sport, the picture you have got on the wall there behind you there, where you have got names of former administrators, journalists, even journalists. I've made friends with journalists here. Why? Because journalists, soccer players, administrators were all developing football. And journalists actually develop football more than otherwise us as players, as administrators, because I can tell you, when I went into coaching, there are certain reporters who could write a lot of things why I lost the game, where some of the things, you could get fired, But the reason why I respect journalists, I could go home and sit down and say, next week next week team win. And my team wins, and the same guy writes good things about me. This is why I say journalists develop football, because they drive even players, administrators, when they bring in feedback on how we are doing things, it makes you go back home, use your homework, and do the right things. So journalists, all the future coaches, players, respect journalists because they develop football in another way. When they say, uTsano team is substitution yake wrong, when I don't believe this happen, ungalungise uyabhala. uTsano kangeleni ufake umfana uzenzo moyo gift long. Namhla team is their win. They are happy with you. So they are not our enemies in football. And there are no permanent enemies in football. Baba Pasha, tell me, in uniform lay a red and white coalitions there. Let it go get one up here in uniform land. Red land.
Yeah, it's
a buff.
Okay. Yeah, and this is a lion.
We say lions, yes, that's true, yeah. You see, so ngifuna ukuthi lokho wayengikubuza baba so kulabantu lapha kathesi namuhla nibe le reporter la a journalist from one of our local paper embuza sithando kathi red and white ngibone wena kwenye picture ugqokelelo ngathi yayi lions singakabe Islanders because abantu bebechinga uthi hey why Islanders igqoke red ngathi no cool right because we've come back to our roots. Iyakutshela ukuthi Islanders sasigqoke red and white. Yeah. No, that's all right. Okay, Baba Sibanda, singakaqedi intshela Baba Sibanda ngikhala lawe. Ubona njani ukuthi i-Highlanders le or a general football in this country inga-improve njani because katheso ngathi into seziyehlile in terms yama-spectators ema-ground abasakhambi kuyobukela njengoba bebukela lina lisadlala lathi sisadlala abantu begcwale bafuthi ngo-11 o'clock ekuseni i-ground ngilama-tap la i-ground igcwala ngo-10 o'clock enzatshengisa abantu babone ama-80s i-1880 ibabafuthi abantu begada ama-tower light bebukela ibhola ngilawo even ama-picture lapha ngilawo anjalo khathesi singaqeda i-episode ngizatshengisa ama-picture abantu bebukela begada ama-tower light so kuyini esingakuyenza ongenziwa khathesi Baba Sibanda to improve our football?
Okay, ngibona ukuthi okay angithi izinto zonke ziyantshintsha ngithi okay thina sadlala ngayisana isikhathi but izinto ke ziyantshintsha and kube le new technology so everything has to change but now into thina imbone yayisinceda kakhulu especially ku-Highlanders lapha kwakuyikubambana when I'm talking about ukubamba from supporters ama-supporters ayibuye ekuseni ngamalokhuzeni like you have just said ukuthi ayibuye ekuseni ngama-11 now in every organization there's bound ukuthi somewhere along the line kungabi lokunye okuhamba kuhle but the spirit ababelayo kwakubiza umhlangano i-board of directors i-executive ama-supporters kuhlaliwe phansi lanxa kwakulobunzima obunjani babekwanisa ukuthi balokhuzeni bakulungisele kwakungahlatsheli ingoma leyo ukuthi ama-players akatesi ngama-mercenaries balanda imali kuphela kwakudinga what causes those players to act in that manner.
Beautiful. It was looking for solutions. You see, when you've got problems at home, it can be at home, it can be in a club, it can be anywhere, at workplace. The most important thing, you've got to look for a solution. A solution is the most important, because you can argue between yourselves, but if you don't come with a solution, you will not solve anything. Yes, Baba. Yeah.
Kakusadlala ama-juniors. Kudala kwakuqalisa ama-juniors.
Yes.
Kubuye wonke adlale kubuye le reserve side. Manje khathesi uma uzangena ngo-12 ungabukeli lutho uzemelela imeni match yikho kwenza uqotha ama-supporter ngoba uyangena emunye la ufuna ukuyabona umntana akhe edlala eqeda lapho ebona i-reserve side ebona ukuthi amfanelwane ngakwana ku-first nantiyabona bakwakukhangelwa khonapho manje khathesi awusekho khonokho andiyabona.
Thank you. Do you know, see, to support what Ubaba Pasha and Mr. Spanda said, with the taps I've got here, I've got taps here, the Peters, you know, the Congeras and everyone, you know, when they were 13, 14-year-olds, playing in those taps I've got here. You could see how many people were in the pitch. Like rightly Ubaba Pasha said, supporters could come in, parents, because he wants to see his child who plays in the under 14. Somebody comes, you want to see his son who plays in the under 18. Somebody will come because you want to see his son who plays in the reserve. In that time, supporters of Highlanders, 5,000 could say, 5,000 Mercedes numbers. 5,000 Alexander Maseko numbers. They were going there, they knew exactly the first 11 of Highlanders. Ukuthi namuhla vele bewazi ukuthi singakhupha uMadinda kuyangena uMorgan P. Singakhupha ubani kuyangena. They could substitute the team bekhonapho. You see, so like Rashid says, we need to go back to the basics of having the junior league to be set in this country. Because without junior league, you can never have entertaining football. Because what we are saying is, you are not building the future of the players by bringing in juniors. You are building a player for the future. You understand? You are not building the future of the player. You are building a player for the future. Hence I'm saying we need, like Ubaba Lupac is saying, the junior development in this country. We need those structures to be there. And by doing so, it will also bring supporters to come and see entertainment. It will be worth $5 to pay $5 if you can watch football from 9 o'clock until 5 o'clock, watching different types of age groups on the pitch. It's worth what not to go and pay $5 just to watch a 90-minute game. So hence I'm saying we need junior football to be developed in this country. And also, lastly, before I close, during that time, gentlemen, there were only 12 teams in this country, which used to be called Super League. Brazil has got more than 121 million people as their population, and they've got 18 teams. In Zimbabwe, we're less than 16 million people, and you have 18 teams. Where do you get the talent from? Where do you get the talent from? Most of these teams, they scramble. Where Tolama for talent? Hence, you look like last year, 4 teams were promoted into Premier League. 3 were demoted straight away. That tells you a story. We don't need 18 teams in this country. We only need 10 or 12. By doing so, we will have quality players and people will enjoy to watch quality football. Thank you, Mr. Swanda, Mr. Parker, for your time. I will have you back again in this program. You still have got a lot of things to tell us, guys. I would like to thank you for coming to this program. And to everybody watching the nation of Zimbabwe and everybody around the country, we'll be having these episodes as we're going. And I personally, I'll be bringing a lot of Highlanders players who played in the 70s and the 60s, and also even players from Zimbabwe Saints, Eastlands. Some of you don't know Eastlands was one of the biggest teams. I mean, with good players. I can bring all those players, former players, they're still alive, some of them, and then we're going to have all this because the new generation here need to know what was happening 40, 55 years in football with Cosmas Zulu. Thank you and good night.